Greetings, friends, and welcome back to another podcast episode, or whatever the hell this is. I'm not sure where I'll post this, but I just have some things to say. I'm going to say them into the microphone, and I will record the video. So I'm not sure what's going to happen in this episode. I'm just going to ramble about my life recently. So I really hope it's interesting. So, got back from my year-long trip around the world, started in Ireland, ended up in Japan, 26 countries, 12 months, all of my savings and mental health were just down the drain by the end of the trip. I think it was a little too long for me, to be honest. A little too ambitious. I feel like I just bit off a little more than I could chew with that trip. Couldn't really afford it. Didn't really do any research as to how to cross borders with a motorcycle or really anything. I just said, let's figure it out, and left. But here we are, guys. We've built an empire. We've actually gained some YouTube subscribers. I'm very surprised, fortunate, lucky, very lucky boy that I was able to do something crazy and people cared about it. And I had fun doing it. Well, at least for the first half, and the parts I wasn't being sexually fucking human trafficked. I'm not gonna go this man's around. What is this? He's trying to drag me into a room with another man. What? No. What the fuck? No. No. What? Yeah, but for the most part, it was a great time, and I got exactly what I wanted to out of it. I got basically a career. I have over 100,000 subscribers now. Not that it's about the numbers. It's just the fact that I can actually support myself doing YouTube, which is phenomenal news. I mean, to the behest of all the old people in my life, my parents, my grandparents, everybody. I'm not sure. Hell, I didn't even think it was going to happen. I built the Patreon up just to get some kind of income. And a lot of people were sending me cash through PayPal and Venmo and stuff, which if you did, like, you're an absolute legend, and you really helped me get down the road. You helped me through some really dark times when I felt like nobody believed in me. No one cared what I was doing. You know what I mean? I was in fucking Ukraine on a motorcycle, and I was like, no one cares about this. I'm getting 500 views, and I think that was around the time that I had like a big shift in my mentality. That was like September of 2022. And I did some more Eastern European things, and the content was really hard to film out there. I didn't enjoy it a ton. It just wasn't really for me, and I felt like I was doing it for other people just to get views and stuff. And then when it didn't get views, I was miserable. You know what I mean? Because I was doing it for other people, and they weren't acknowledging it. So like, why the fuck am I even doing this? Why am I risking my life out here? You know what I mean? For literally no money. Like, for the first 2.5 years, I made nothing on YouTube, like absolutely nothing. Hundreds, maybe thousands of hours, I don't know, I've never clocked it, but of my life into this craft, and I felt like it wasn't paying off. It had been years, and I was like, do I just suck at this? Does no one care? Am I worthless? You know what I mean? And I think around the time I did that meditation retreat in northern India for 10 days, silence, it was a Vipassana, or like awareness meditation. I came out of that with like a new vision, a new goal for the channel. And usually, like, every year I'll make like a bunch of New Year's resolutions. I'll make, a huge list of things and kind of rank them as far as importance. But this year, 2023, I literally just told myself I'm only going to make videos that I would click on and that I would watch all the way through. And that's it. That's the only thing I was going to focus on this year, was making banger ass videos, honestly. And look where it's got me. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be some fucking YouTube guru over here, but all the people that were talking about keywords and retention and fucking a hook and a good whatever the fuck, just get fucked on it. I mean, I don't want to be ugly about it, but like, I just didn't need any of that. I didn't need any of the advice. I didn't listen to any of it. I didn't do anything except for make good videos. And it's actually paying off, and I have a career now, and I don't have to work a shitty job anymore. I don't have to rely on people donating to me, or I don't have to worry about how I'm going to make rent next month. I literally have a career based on this, what I'm doing right now, which is fantastic. It's a dream come true. And yeah, so I left. Once I was in India, I started making just videos for me. Like, I didn't care about the comments. I didn't care about feedback. You know what I mean? Like, there's this really good Steve Jobs quote where he's talking about, they're asking him like, oh, do you want to do like product, what's it called? Research and development. Do you want to do testing on like customers? And he's like, no, I don't want the customers to tell me what they want. I want to show them what they want. And that doesn't even fully summarize the relationship I'm going for with the audience. I'm literally making videos just for me, but that's kind of the idea, right? Is like, I don't want people to suggest things to me. I don't want any feedback or criticism or anything. I just want to make videos that I would enjoy. And I think that just cuts through all the bullshit on YouTube. There's so much like stuff made for other people. Oh, like this is a trending topic. Dude, I've had friends suggest that I do videos on like the Jada Pinkett Smith drama with like Will Smith. Like, why the fuck? I don't care about that. I would not watch a video on that. I don't know why there's all these trends, and it's just so pathetic. Like the way people, it's like a popularity contest. And I mean, honestly, I fell into it too. Like, that was me for years on YouTube. I was like, oh, what'll work? Like, what do people like, you know? And I wasn't doing it for me. I had forgotten like why I got into the game was to make cool shit that I love. And once I realized that, like, things just completely changed. Like, I was still not getting any attention on YouTube, but I was just having fun. You know what I mean? And it didn't matter that no one was watching. I was doing it for me. So as long as the video was good in my eyes, it was a win. You know, so like from India all the way to Japan, that second half of the trip, all those videos are for me. You know what I mean? And surprise, surprise, like they're fucking taking off. Like the India series, the Myanmar series, Japan. You know, Japan is a place I love. It's my favorite country on the whole planet. And I was worried that like no one was going to give a shit because Japan is like super neat and proper and organized and predictable, and it's super safe. And you know what I mean? Like, I'll be honest, I worried about that. I was like, are people even going to care? But then at the end of the day, I just continued to make videos for me. You know what I mean? And as I'm editing the videos, as I'm publishing them, as I'm writing the description, literally every single thing in the video is just cool shit that I would like and that some people out there like, which is cool. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's been a fucking wild ride, man. Like I finished the trip, absolutely zero money. I stayed in Japan way too long, and well, that's not true. It wasn't too long. It was just for my bank account. I outlived the duration of my bank account. Like by the time I got back, it was fucking fried. So I had to get a job. I worked this shitty job out west, like laying power wire in the desert. Shout out Quantec, worst company on the fucking planet. Had a meth head boss. Didn't care about our safety. We were just walking out in the desert, laying wire for, you know, $180 a day, which is good money. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. But like for the safety concerns, it was a shit show, man. It was bad. I worried about my safety every single day, but I had to do it. I had no other choice. I needed to get I had to get fast cash. I had to make money quick because I was desperate. You know, I waited tables in the States, making pretty good money. That was an okay job, but again, like it was a hustle. Like, so what I'm trying to say is like, I was flat broke when I started getting attention on YouTube. Like, it's kind of like that classic artist story. Like, they're broke, they're dead broke, and then something finally breaks for them. And that was me. I was literally swiping my credit card, making purchases I knew I couldn't afford. I knew I could not afford them. Yeah, that was a scary time. I didn't know how I was going to pay my credit card bills. I didn't know how I was going to make rent. I just felt like a complete loser. I was like, I've done this amazing trip that I know is cool, but no one gives a shit, and I'm poor. So it was tough, man. Luckily, I have a great girlfriend. She's incredibly supportive. My family is so supportive and wonderful, and they always believed in me. So I wanted to say I never had a doubt it would turn out great, but I did, man. Honestly, I was like, oh, I guess YouTube's just not for me. I guess like the algorithm or whatever you want to call it is just not working in my favor. I guess I'm just going to have to be like a Patreon donation guy. But luckily, it's finally worked out. And I am so happy. I'm so proud with the outcome. I'm so proud that like the most popular videos on the channel are ones that I actually fuck with and that are super unique to me. And thank you guys for being here. Thanks for watching the video. I don't even know if anyone cares about the podcast. It's something that I just care about. I want to say this is for me. And if you fuck with it, then great. And if not, that's fine too. But thanks for being here anyways. And I just want to say, without sounding like a complete fuckboy, if anyone's worried about me selling out or like changing the content now that I have an audience, don't be, because I got to where I am by not giving a fuck. I got to where I am by not listening to any outside input whatsoever. So I'm just going to double down. I'm just going to continue making shit that I think is cool. You know what I mean? Each video is going to be a little different. The style is going to change based on what I want to do. You know what I mean? I'm not chasing trends. I'm not chasing attention. I'm not chasing views. As long as I can make $1,000 a month, I'll be fine. I can live in Vietnam. I can live in fucking Africa on $30-$40 a day. I'll be totally fine. So this is just about making cool shit. So if you're into that, click subscribe. Stick around. Thanks for being here. And yeah, another thing that happened to me recently that I want to touch on is I got robbed at gunpoint in Colombia. It was the scariest experience of my life. I thought I was going to die. I'm not being dramatic. I'm being 1,000% honest. When I heard that gun cock, I thought he was going to shoot me in the stomach and I was going to bleed there and die in the streets of Colombia. And no one was going to care, and that was going to be the end of me. The funny thing is, it happened on the same day that I got 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I woke up, felt like Christmas morning. I got that 100K. It was a huge accomplishment. It's something I've dreamed of for so long, and I didn't even think was possible if you asked me several months ago. But yeah, it was a fantastic day. I woke up feeling great, you know what I mean? So I was staying with my buddy Jason, and he was like working a bunch, and he wasn't super available. So the first day I was in Colombia, I just kind of stayed in and just chilled and edited and worked. And that next day, I hit the 100K, and I was like, fuck it, let's go celebrate. Let's leave the apartment. It was like the second or third day in Colombia at that point. We hadn't done anything before this. And we leave the apartment, we get tacos, a couple beers, and then we're walking back home, right? And we're in Laureles, next to Estadio in Medellin. It's like this big soccer stadium. Super nice, clean area, friendly locals, just a nice atmosphere in Laureles. I used to live there, and I really enjoy the neighborhood. But they have a huge crime problem, and it's something that I had forgotten about between the years where I was living there and when I came back just to visit for fun. So we leave the taco place, we're walking home, it's dark, I think it's like 10:30 at night, and this guy is like walking in front of us, and he's kind of like eyeing us, you know what I mean, like really hard, to the point where I told Jason, I was like, hey bro, like let's hang back. Let's let this guy pass. Let's let him carry on walking and get a little distance, and then we'll see what happens. We'll kind of size him up and then decide what to do. And so he's eyeing us really hard. He like gets a little space between us. You know what I mean? Like he gets a little in front of us. We cross the road to see if he crosses the road, to see if he's following us. You know what I mean? And he's kind of like eyeing us the other direction now, right? Before he was like this, looking over his shoulder. We crossed the road. Now he's looking over like this. So I'm like, all right, what the fuck is going on? Something is up here. So we're hanging back. We let him go. He kind of turns the corner and disappears. And we're like, okay, cool. I guess that threat is neutralized. And by the way, he was a small dude. I'm 6'2", Jason's 6'3", 6'4". I think we could have taken him. You know what I mean? And but we were really close to his apartment. So we're like, fuck it. Let's just keep walking. And we'll go home. Like our apartment's right there. So we keep walking. And we like pass the guy. He's sitting on a bench with some other homeless people. And we're like, oh, I guess it's just like a little homeless encampment. I guess they're doing drugs. The people passed out on the street, getting high. I guess he's just sketched out about us seeing him do drugs or something. So we pass him. Threat's neutralized, right? Like he's just hanging out with homeless people. He's not a threat to us anymore. He's just sitting there. He's not getting any closer to us. We're totally fine. And then we walk 10 or 15 more steps, and right then, this yellow cab pulls up a little past us and stops next to the homeless guy. And I'm like, wait, why would a cab stop next to a homeless guy on the street? Like, that doesn't make any sense. The homeless guy's not getting in, like, he has no money, you know what I mean? So he pulls up a little past us, and we keep walking. And then I kind of see him out of the corner of my eye. This cab driver, he hops out and then runs behind us real stealth and quiet. And I see something in his hand. And then I hear the gun cock. And he goes, "Give me everything you have." And I was like, oh, fuck. And in that moment, I literally thought I was going to die. I was terrified, man. You always hear about people getting robbed in Colombia. It's the trendy thing to say, oh, it's not that dangerous, whatever. We make little cute videos as YouTubers like, oh, look, it's not that dangerous. Colombia is fucking dangerous, okay? It's as dangerous as they say. Colombia has a huge crime problem. I know dozens of people who have been robbed in Colombia. Just Google right now or YouTube search right now, robbed in Colombia on YouTube. I was one of those people before. 2 or 3 years ago, I was in Colombia. I got robbed at knife point. I'll drop the link in the description. It was very scary. But it was a knife, and this was a gun. This is completely new territory for me, and it's not rare in Colombia. Like, it's really not. You hear about people all the time. They're getting shot, getting mugged, getting kidnapped. It happens in Colombia. Colombia is a fucked up place, okay? I hate to say it, but I probably won't be going back to Colombia. I feel very strongly about this, that it's not cute anymore to make the videos, oh, I'm going to go to the most dangerous place, whatever. I've done that. I'm guilty of that. I apologize. I repent for my sins. It's irresponsible to go to a really dangerous place and say, oh, look, this is totally fine. You can come here too. You know what I mean? It's one thing to make a video in a dangerous place, showing the humanity of it, showing the other side of it, showing the beauty of it, someplace that people are scared of that they shouldn't be, right? I'm on board with that. But to go to a place that's actually dangerous, where people get robbed, mugged, kidnapped, killed every day, Colombia, Medellin, Colombia, to be perfectly clear, is not safe. It's a fucked up place. And if you're a foreigner, you're not safe there. You have a target on your back going to the tourist areas. People know you have money. They know you have a phone. They know you have your passport, whatever, keys, ID. Dude, this whole situation. Okay, so I'll finish the story first. So he cocks the gun. He says, "Give me everything you have." I throw my wallet. Jason, my friend, throws a pack of gum and his phone. Ballsy move, Jason. Ballsy move, throwing just the pack of gum. But to be fair, I thought it was his wallet. So fair play, Jason. Fair play. I throw my wallet. I don't throw the phone because it's expensive and I have 10,000 photos on it that are not backed up. And I'm like, maybe he won't notice. Maybe he's in a hurry. Whatever. I didn't want to throw the phone. Throw the wallet. And he's like, everything. And I was like, fuck. And I threw the phone begrudgingly, and he's like, scram, and we just ran off. And it was fucking scary, man. It was really scary. It was hard going to sleep that night. And the next night, I just didn't feel safe in Colombia. I just didn't feel safe, man. My heart's beating, having panic attacks throughout the day. Don't want to leave the apartment. It was a bad situation, man. It was bad. I don't recommend you go to Colombia. I think it's one of those places that enough people get robbed there, and I've been robbed there twice, to where, okay, let's use our brains like big boys and girls. Let's see the writing on the walls. It's a fucked up place. And it's like, I love Colombia, but I don't want to go there and take all the precautions. I don't want to have guards. I don't want to like drink at rooftop bars with security. I don't want to do that. I don't want to experience a place like that. So Colombia is just not for me anymore. I think I've retired from Colombia, and maybe all of South America. I don't know. I could be persuaded. I like speaking Spanish. I like the culture. I just don't like the safety issue. It's a huge problem, and I feel like it's this trendy thing to say, oh, come here. It's not too bad. Look at me. I had a great time. Well, just because you had a great time doesn't mean it's safe. Doesn't mean you should recommend it to everybody. It's like there's one side of the coin that's like, oh, don't go there. It's super, super dangerous. Pablo Escobar, blah, blah, blah. And the other side of that same coin is, oh, you should go there. It's misunderstood, blah, 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 blah. And I'm saying both of them are wrong. I'm saying it's somewhere in the middle of like, yes, it's fucked up. Yes, you need to be on high alert. But I just can't recommend the average person go to Colombia. I just really can't. So, yeah. Yeah. So the next night, Jason's like, oh, I know this guy who used to be in the military. He used to be a cop. He's got connections in the PD. He can get our phones back. And I was like, all right, bet. Let's go meet your friend and see what we can do. So we meet the guy. We're like, hey, should we file a police report? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, don't worry, I'm on it. I know this sounds fake. This sounds like a made-up story. I promise it's not. So He's like, okay, I'm on it. He calls his police friends. They're over in 5 minutes on motorcycles, ready to take our statements. They take our statements. I tell them that on my MacBook, I can see where the iPhone is. I've been tracking the location for 24 hours, and I can see exactly where it is. And they're like, okay, cool. We're going to come to your apartment. We're going to pick you up with your MacBook. You're going to come in the police cruiser with us, and we're going to search for your phone in the streets of Colombia. And I had been like so close to this problem for 24 hours, you know what I mean? Like bank fraud alerts, credit card cancellations. I have no phone. I can't even do anything of productive value. I can't verify my identity with my bank because I don't have my fucking phone, so I can't do anything of importance, and I just feel stuck in this apartment. And I just feel like my brain was like short-circuiting, and I was like, okay, fuck it, let's go. So we give the police our address. And if you don't know this, dear listener, the police in Colombia are extremely corrupt. They'll take your money, they'll kidnap you, they'll work with the cartel. Like, they'll do anything for cash. So in my right mind, I don't think I would have agreed to do something so ridiculous and stupid. But being that I hadn't eaten all day, I didn't leave the house, I haven't seen sunlight, I'm just focusing on this problem all day and all night. And Jason's like, hey, they're going to come pick us up, and we're going to take your MacBook that costs $2,000, and we're going to go search for your iPhone. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, maybe let's give it a second. I called my girlfriend just to see, because she's kind of my voice of reason, my better half. She's a little smarter than I am, let's be honest. And I was like, hey, like, is this a good idea? Should I cruise around with these cops and go looking for the phone? She's like, absolutely fucking not. She highly discouraged me from doing that, which I'm forever grateful for, because, you know, best case scenario, I get in the car, we search for the phone, we find the phone. I come back home with my MacBook, my body, and my phone. Medium case is I take them to the phone, they take the phone. Or even worse, they take the phone and the computer, or the phone, the computer, and me. You know what I mean? Like, in that situation, they have all the power. So, and also, how ridiculous is it for the cops to be like, can you imagine this in your country, in the U.S., or like in Western or Northern Europe or something, or in Australia? The cops are like, hey, buddy, let's take your laptop and you're going to come around and we're going to do some little police work on the streets of wherever the fuck. Like, why do I need to be part of that equation? I don't understand how they thought I was a necessary element to getting my phone back. Like, I can just sit in the apartment and call them and tell them where the phone is. And if it moves, I tell them. I don't need to physically be in the cruiser with my MacBook. It just didn't make sense. This is another thing in Colombia. Like, if something happens to you, there will be no repercussions. There will be no repercussions. The cops are useless in Colombia. They're super incompetent. They're lazy. They're looking for bribes. They'll just shame you. They'll be like, oh, why didn't you come to us earlier with your whatever? I'm like, bro. So yeah, that was the end of the Colombia saga. I left the country the next day. I bought the cheapest flight I could find, and I left the next day. Yeah, I just was not in the mood to travel anymore. We had this whole motorcycle trip planned in the mountains. You know what I mean? We were going to have some little fun YouTube adventures in the mountains and show people that Colombia is not that bad, but it really is that bad. And I was not in the mood to film any content afterwards. It's been 10 days, and this is the first I felt like actually talking about it, because I've been so, dare I say, traumatized after thinking I was going to bleed out in the ghetto of Medellin. You know what I mean? So that's it, guys. That's pretty much it. I just wanted to come on here and rant and tell you, maybe don't go to Colombia. You know what I mean? Maybe the State Department wasn't so wrong after all on this one. Maybe it was the YouTubers that were fucking up and telling people to go to Colombia. Well, anyways, guys, it's Thanksgiving. I'm going to stop talking into this microphone now and go be with my family. Thanks for coming along for a little episode of whatever the fuck this is. I'm not even sure where I'm going to post this. I just wanted to rant and tell you, maybe don't go to Colombia.